Okay. So moving on with this FTP, let us commence with the first session of this faculty development program by inviting none other than the convener of Environmental Audit Cell of Gujarat Pollution Control Board, Mrs. J.B. Pandya ma'am. JIGNA ma'am is a scientific officer at GPCB. She has done BSc in biochemistry and MSc in life sciences from Gujarat University. She has been associated with GPCB since 27 years with varied experience of working in central laboratory, assisted state level expert appraisal committee, and state level environment impact assessment authority of the state. Currently, she is looking after the east area of Ahmedabad, polluted river stretches, environmental audit cell, and technical committee of GPCB. We are really privileged to have such a personality with us today, and she will be taking the first session for this revered FDP. So I am handing the mic to Jigna madam. Ma'am, please.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Rutliwala sir. Good evening, Taylor sir, and all the
Good evening, ma'am.
participants. And thank you, Pacific University, for giving me this opportunity today. I'm sharing my slides. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
So, as introduced by Dr. Taylor, myself, Mrs. J.B. Pandya from Gujarat Pollution Control Board. I'm looking after the Environment Audit Cell here. Environment Audit Scheme is being implemented in the Gujarat state since 1996, and its origin is due to the Honorable High Court of Gujarat directions in its order dated 20th of December 1995. When we talk about the Environment Audit Scheme in the Gujarat state, it would be it would not be proper if the reason for the origin of the scheme in the state and the landmark judgments of Honorable High Court of Gujarat are not discussed. We all know that Water Act came in 1974, Air Act came in 1981, and Environment Protection came into existence in 1986. So during the 70s and 80s, the people all around the world started thinking about the environment. And the issues related to pollution, whether air or surface and groundwater, soil, and its impacts on ecology, human health, had found their place among the key issues like population, finance, civil supplies, water supplies, employment, etc. all over the world way back in 80s and 90s. But the awareness among the general public and the industries, and mainly the readiness of the industries for provision of pollution control measures for reduction of pollution levels was very negligible in India. The roots of emergence of the Environment Audit Scheme lies in the year between 1990 to 1994. During this period, the farmers from the villages of Kheda district in Gujarat felt their crops and the yields are adversely impacted due to the deteriorated
Ma'am,
water
so,
quality. Yes, yes,
ma'am, sorry to interrupt, but we are still the slide number one, that is origin Honorable High
yes,
Court slide is
yes,
only.
yes. A
You are on the
origin,
same slide?
yes, yes.
Okay,
And I am
okay,
describing the origin only. The origin is the
okay,
somewhat detailed thing.
okay, okay. Thank you. Please continue.
Okay. When the farmers of villages of Kheda district in Gujarat, they felt that their crops and yields are impacted due to the deteriorated water quality of irrigation water. The farmers were dependent on the water of river Khari for the irrigation. Due to the effluent discharge from the industries like chemicals, dyes intermediates, power plant, pulp and paper mills, rolling mills, bulk drug, pharmaceuticals, pesticides, and not what, from the industrial estates of Ahmedabad, created problems of pollution levels in river Khari. Actually, the industries from these industrial clusters of Ahmedabad area like Vatva, Naroda, Odhav, Gujarat Vepari Mahamandal, that is GVMM, SAV, and Narol, they used to discharge their treated or untreated effluent into Kharikat Canal. And this discharge of effluent find their way into river Khari, which is flowing through the Kheda district. Subsequently, the farmers from the villages of Kheda district, in simple piece of paper, I would say in a postcard, they wrote a complaint to High Court of Gujarat about adversely impacted their crops and pollution levels in river Khari water. Honorable Court noticed that the industrial effluent from the industries located in GIDC, Vatwa, Naroda, Odavan, all these industrial clusters of Ahmedabad area were discharged into Kharikat Canal, which ultimately found its way to river Khari, flowing through the Kheda district. The Honorable Court viewed this matter very seriously and filed a writ petition 770 of 1995. Honorable High Court has filed a writ petition, and the state government along with public authorities like Gujarat Pollution Control Board, Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation, GIDC, and of course all the polluted industries were made parties in the writ petition. The Honorable Court has made the public authorities responsible in view of failing to act as per their responsibility under the various enactments, and the industries were held responsible for causing pollution in the river by deteriorating the water quality as well as adversely impacting the crops of farmers. All the respondents were asked to file their submissions. The Honorable Court, by order dated 5th of August 1995, given time limit and directed the polluted industries and public authorities. The important directions I would narrate. First, the more polluting industries are required to be closed down forthwith if they do not have the requisite effluent treatment plants in place. And the smaller industries that are less polluting industries and having discharged less than 25 kL were granted time for setting up the common effluent treatment plants to achieve GPCB norms at the end of pipe. At this juncture, the Honorable Court has visioned the fact that the smaller industries who could not afford to have effluent treatment plants with secondary treatment in place at individual level, they required to set up common effluent treatment plants. As a result of this, the common effluent treatment plants like CETPs of Vatva, Odav, Naroda, GVMM, SAB, Narol, all such 7 CETPs came into existence. The smaller industrial units were mandated to provide primary treatment at their premises so that the effluent received at CETP level are within manageable limits for the respective CETPs. For example, the industries located in GIDC Vatva are required to send their primarily treated effluent into CETP Vatva. These way the smaller industrial units discharge their primary treated effluent to the respective CETP for further treatment of secondary level at the CETP. And this way, the prescribed norms can be achieved at the final outlet of CETP. Ultimately, the commonly collected effluent from small industries can be conveniently disposed of from a single exit point. Due to this, the number of checkpoints for monitoring the compliance by the GPCB got reduced. So instead of monitoring the 50 industries and their ETPs and their outlets, only one single outlet of common effluent treatment plant is required to be monitored. So these were the directions for industrial units by the Honorable High Court of Gujarat. And now the directions for public authorities. The public authorities were at that time granted time for laying down the pipeline for conveying the effluents generated from the industrial clusters of Ahmedabad area up to Pirana in river Sabarmati, so that the industrial effluent could be mixed with the treated sewage. Pirana is the area in river Sabarmati where the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation discharges its treated sewage. And so the Honorable Court directed to travel this treated industrial effluent up to Pirana in river Sabarmati, where the treated sewage and treated industrial effluent got mixed, and the TDS level of the industrial treated effluent can get the achievable TDS levels of 2100 milligram per liter. Friends, Honorable Court directed the industrial units or CETPs to achieve the prescribed norms at the outlet of the treatment plants except TDS, because Honorable Court was knowing that to meet the TDS level of 2100 milligram per liter in the treated industrial effluent is almost impossible. And so they have visioned at that time in 1996 that if the treated industrial effluents wants to meet their TDS levels, yes, industrial effluents when get treated, the COD and BOD levels were easy to achieve, but the TDS was very difficult, and so it was envisioned at that time to mix the treated industrial effluent with the treated sewage to get the TDS level up to 2100 milligram per liter. Honorable Court has directed at that time that expense of laying down the pipeline was to be borne by the industries, and this has enabled the existence of today's mega pipeline. Whosoever has been to Ahmedabad East area must be knowing about the mega pipeline. Mega pipeline is an affluent conveyance pipeline which is laid down as a consequence of the Honorable High Court's judgment, which is carrying the affluent, treated affluent from all the GIDCs of Ahmedabad area and dispose it at Pirana into river Sabarmati. The Honorable Court has also directed public authorities to make appropriate sites available for disposal of solid waste and which enable the existence of TSDF sites. There were two major reasons for emergence of the environment audit scheme. So all these, the emergence of common effluent treatment plants, TSDFs, mega pipeline, all are the consequences of the judgment of the Honorable High Court of Gujarat. Honorable High Court of Gujarat, in its verdict during the hearing of 770 of 1995, mentioned the reasons why the environment audit scheme also to be introduced. The Honorable High Court at that time noticed that major problem on the pollution control front is monitoring of a large number of industrial units spread over in different areas in the city of Ahmedabad and its outskirts. At that time, GPCB also pointed out that there are large number of industries running into thousands of them and spread over this entire state, and against it GPCB had a very limited manpower. In view of violation of pollution control norms by industries on a large scale, GPCB is not able to take necessary actions against many of them. GPCB also mentioned that the industries and their ETPs are required to be inspected and monitored from different angles, like provision of pollution control measures based on the pollution potential of the particular industry or a particular class of industries, adequacy and efficacy of the environment management system, whether the pollution control measures are actually being operated or not. This kind of examination and evaluation during the monitoring by the GPCB, with its limited manpower during the inspection, was next to impossible. It was felt that this kind of evaluation can be made by technical experts only after examining. It was felt that this kind of evaluation can be made by technical experts only after examining the manufacturing activity, effluent treatment processes of each individual industry over a period of time, not a single during the single monitoring, over a period of time, and not by merely taking grab samples on surprise visits. This was one reason. The second reason was the CETPs were set by the Industries Association as per the directions of Honorable Court, with a vision that the task of law enforcing agencies will be comparatively easier. Like I said, that by setting up of CETPs, we have to monitor single outlet of CETP instead of monitoring the outlet of all their member industries. And but nevertheless, on account of the all familiar lack of civic sense, if individual industrial units, particularly those causing high level of pollution, do not operate their effluent treatment plants in order to save expenses or for other reasons, the operation of the entire CETP could be affected. So CETPs made by their own industries association could find it difficult to discipline their own member industries. And therefore, the hands of the industries associations also need to be strengthened from outside. So the main reason to strengthen the arms of GPCB as well as the industries association monitoring their member industries. Honorable High Court quoted that control mechanism is very much known in the field of company law and income tax. Then why such audits should not be made obligatory in respect of capital provided by the nature? Natural property is also very precious property. So with the objective of arming the GPCB as well as the industries associations in the concerned areas and with a view to enforcing discipline, rather self-discipline among the individual units, Honorable Court has directed to introduce and implement environment audit scheme by the judgments in the writ petition number 770 of 1995, where the qualified technical professionals, that are the environment auditors, would become a link between the individual industrial units on the one hand and the GPCB and industries associations on the other hand. The Honorable Court clarified that the scheme is in addition and not in derogation of the powers of GPCB and other statutory authorities. The industries are still subject to be monitored, which is carrying out by GPCB. So it is not the alternative of GPCB's monitoring. Honorable Court and other concerned authorities also, not only GPCB. The scheme was made applicable to the industries all over the state by virtue of the order dated 20th of December 1996 of Honorable Court. The scheme was made applicable to the industries in and around Ahmedabad at the first instance, and then made applicable to other parts of the state also for the industries covered under the schedules to the scheme, that is Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 industries. The scheme was made applicable as a part of the self-discipline among the industries. The Honorable Court also directed to government agencies to incorporate various suggestions made by NERI and other committees appointed by Honorable Court in the Writ Petition 770 of 1995. One of the major suggestions made during the proceeding was, instead of disposing the byproducts or hazardous waste like spent acid in the environment, to use of byproducts and spent acid in manufacturing of other chemical products or in treatment facilities without generating any significant pollution processes. The draft scheme was prepared and circulated to the Forest and Environment Department in the government of Gujarat, other public authorities, various associations of industries, as well as NERI, National Environment Engineering Research Institute. And after giving careful considerations on the suggestions received from all these, the scheme was finalized. The scheme finalized was made a part of the order dated 20th of December 1996 in Writ Petition 770/1995. The scheme was made applicable to the listed industries in Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 to the scheme. GPCB was directed to invite application for being recognized as environment auditors and to prepare a list of recognized environment auditors in 1996. This is how the environment audit scheme was started and being implemented in the state. This was all about the origin of the environment audit scheme. Honorable Court has also mentioned in the order dated 20th of December 1996 that the GPCB or this court may add any further products, processes to Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 list of the industries and may add further clauses to the scheme for more effective implementation of the mechanism for protection of environment and prevention and control of pollution. The scheme was first implemented in Gujarat state in the year 1996. The scheme was not implemented in any other part of the country. At present, state of Rajasthan has started environment audit scheme with different mechanism, and Ministry of Environment and Forest has also published a draft notification for certified auditors to verify the compliance with regards to the environment clearances granted. Various reforms in the field of environment like emergence of CETPs, TSTFs, third-party monitoring through environment audit, reuse of byproducts and hazardous waste, etc., introduced in the state through this judgment of Honorable High Court, and that is why the judgment dated 20th of December 1995 of Honorable High Court of Gujarat is called the Green Judgment or the landmark judgment in the field of environment in the state. So the direction to implement the environment audit scheme for Gujarat, that is the direction of environment, direction of the Honorable Court, and this is the only in Gujarat and first of its kind in India and implemented in 1996. Purpose we have already discussed that to have qualified technical professionals, that is environment auditors who can become a link between the individual industries and GPCB to arm the GPCB. Environment auditors are an extended arm of GPCB and their environment audit reports submitted by the environment auditors are of really useful when taking decisions at GPCB level. To create sense of discipline in the industrial units, already discussed. Inspection and monitoring of industries from different perspectives. This is also covered while discussing about the proceedings of 770 of 1995. Principles of environment audit scheme are polluter pays, continual improvement. The principle of polluter pays was also incorporated in the scheme itself. During the course of hearing, Honorable Court has evolved a principle that polluting industries cannot be permitted to go on making profits out of pollution. Whatever the industries are saving by way of costs, expenses, and interest on pollution control measures and making profits should be set apart and utilized for the welfare of the pollution affected areas. This is the reason why the industries and their associations were asked to bear the expenses of laydown of affluent conveyance pipeline up to River Sabarmati, setting up of CETPs and TSDFs. The continual improvement can be achieved in the environment management system through third-party monitoring by the environment auditors and evaluations by technical professionals from different angles and suggesting advanced or cleaner mechanisms while carrying out environment auditing of the industries. This is, of course, an extension of environmental statement submission, which is mandated as per the Rule 14 of Environment Protection Rules. GPCB is implementing the scheme since 1996. The scheme got evaluated through National Environmental Research Engineering Institute, NERI, Nagpur, and JPAL NGO for effective implementation and strengthening. So, for more effective implementation and strengthening of the scheme, GPCB has evaluated the scheme through NERI, Nagpur. NERI has prepared evaluation report and submitted recommendations. Main recommendations are the scheme should be continued to be followed strictly. Random assessment of environment audit reports received from the environment auditors should be done by experts, regular assessment. So GPCB has also started assessment of the environment audit reports through expert educational institutes, but still in process to strengthen the process. Establishment of a separate cell for environment audit by GPCB, having adequate number of engineers and scientists may provide more effective implementation of the scheme. So as per suggestion of NERI, the environment audit cell is working in GPCB. The year for audit purpose should be changed from calendar year to financial year. That is from 1st April to 31st March. And the last date for submission of the audit report should be within 2 months from the close of the financial year. This was the suggestion by NERI. And as per the suggestion of NERI, GPCB has changed the audit period, which was according to calendar year, that is from 1st January to 31st December earlier, and now it has been changed according to the financial year, that is 1st April to 31st March, and the environment audit report is to be submitted on or before 30th of June for the preceding environment audit work, preceding year's environment audit work. Another suggestion by NERI was the scheme should not only be restricted to the state of Gujarat but can also be adopted by other states across the country to acquire the benefit of the scheme. But the only Rajasthan state has, as per my information, has adopted the environment audit scheme. And maybe one or two states also inquired about the implementation of the environment audit scheme. So maybe in near future we can hear about that. JPAL, the NGO, conducted comprehensive research for 3 years and carried out independent evaluation of the scheme and came out with recommendations to increase the effectiveness of the scheme. So earlier I mentioned about the recommendations of NERI, and now the JPAL NGO has carried out rigorous 3-year research on the environment audit scheme and suggested that to assign industries to auditors with the method of random assignment, the same has been done by GPCB, that GPCB is allotting industries to environment auditors through randomization software prepared by NIC since 2015. Back checks of environment audit work carried out by the auditors, and the same suggestion was also made by NERI. And GPCB has started evaluation of the environment audit reports prepared by Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 environment auditors through expert educational institutes, but still long way to go in this regard. Suggested to fix the payment structure. GPCB implemented suggestion through modification in the scheme during the year 2015. This was about suggestions by Neri and Jepal, and the Planning Commission also reported the scheme as a successful program in the state. As a third party monitoring outsourced at state level under the resource management subject. So Planning Commission also has noted about the scheme. The scheme was modified on 23rd January 2015, considering the suggestions and recommendations of Neri and Jepal. Of course, the representative of industrial associations, officers of Chamber of Commerce, committee members of Environment Audit Committee, uh, officers from common facilities, representatives from Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 industries, as well as environment auditors, and the recommendation suggestions from all these were also considered while modifying the scheme during the year 2015. Hmm. The modification made in the environment audit scheme on 23rd January 2015 are: first two are about the eligibility criteria regarding with respect to educational qualifications of the scientists, that is team member 3 and team member 4. First is a person possessing a degree in microbiology and biochemistry only were eligible as an team member 4 as per earlier provisions, but as per the modified provision, person having a degree in microbiology, biochemistry, chemistry, biotechnology, zoology, environmental science, climate change, forensic science, life science, and other similar subjects related to the environment are eligible to become member of environment audit team. The second provision is for team member 3 having experience in chemical industry only were eligible as a team member 4 in environment audit team, but now the chemical industries and analytical laboratory work experience is also valid. Third provision is earlier as per the environment audit scheme. It will be for the industrial units to fix and pay the fees for preparation of environment audit reports by environment auditors. This scheme was modified and GPCB now assigning industries to auditors each year using method of random assignment based on computer program, and GPCB will retain Schedule 1 auditor for back checks of Schedule 2 auditors, and further back check of Schedule 1 auditors would be done by Schedule 1 auditor other than the same auditor. Fourth was auditor assigned by the industry and fees are decided mutually. As per the earlier provision, the fees for environment audit work was decided mutually between the industries and the environment auditors. But as per the modified scheme, the structure of payment to the environment auditors is fixed, and is the government resolutions related to the payment structure are also available on the website. As per the earlier provisions, the environment audit period was as per the calendar year, and the environment audit reports are required to be submitted on or before 31st January of the next year. But as per the modified scheme, as earlier I said, the environment audit period changed as per the financial year, and the environment audit report is required to be submitted on or before 30th of June of the preceding year. Applicability as earlier discussed, all the industries listed in Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 of the scheme having one or more products, processes are, are falling under the provisions of Environment Audit Scheme. All the common facilities are also falling under the provisions of Environment Audit Scheme. Now the classification of Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 industries. Just a minute. Hmm. Industries were scientifically classified as Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 industries based on type of products manufactured, processes involved in manufacturing, and use of raw materials. The industries tend to have extremely high degree of pollution level were set out in Schedule 1, which require utmost attention and scrutiny. And the other industries manufacturing products not covered in the list of Schedule 1 are covered under Schedule 2. The CETPs and the common infrastructure facilities are covered under Schedule 1. So now we will discuss about the Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 industries.
Ma'am, please start the presentation mode. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So Schedule 1 industry, naphthalene based intermediates, irrespective of their effluent, going to common effluent treatment plant or not. Naphthalene based intermediates producing industries like production of H acid, diazonaphthyl sulfonic acid, beta naphthol, alpha naphthylamine, C acid, Kale acid, European acid, etc. are covered under Schedule 1 industries. And the naphthalene derivative based intermediates, not the naphthalene based intermediates, naphthalene derivative based intermediates. And if the effluent from these industries is not discharging into CETP, then these industries are covered under Schedule 1. But the same industries, that is naphthalene derivative based intermediates producing industries, and if the effluent going to CETP, then these industries are covered under Schedule 2. I'm talking about B. Then C, intermediates, aniline based intermediates, irrespective of effluent going to CETP or not, they are covered under Schedule 1, that is vinyl sulfone and acetyl sulfonyl chloride manufacturing units. Aniline derivative based intermediates, that is DASA manufacturing units. And if the effluent is not going to CETP, they are covered under Schedule 1 industry. Same way, aniline derivative based intermediate manufacturing units, and if the effluent is going to CETP, I'm talking about I, the industry falls under Schedule 2 industry. So based on the pollution potential, it has been considered that if the effluent is not going to CETP, that means the industry is discharging treated effluent into the environment, maybe surface water or maybe using for the irrigation purpose. Then the pollution potential of these kind of industries is considered more, and they are covered under Schedule 1 industry. Second, pigments, metaphthalocyanin based. industries manufacturing CPC blue, CPC green, alpha blue, and if the effluent of these industries not going to common effluent treatment plant, they are covered under Schedule 1 industry. But the same industries, if the effluent is going to CETP, they will be covered under Schedule 2. Common effluent treatment plants, as I earlier mentioned, all kind of common effluent treatment plant and common environmental infrastructure facilities are covered under Schedule 1. Then 4, all industrial plants manufacturing products involving processes mentioned in column 3 and discharging effluent in quantity more than 1 lakh liter per day or more, and if effluent is not going to CETP, then these industries are covered under Schedule 1. These industries are fermentation, including distillery, sugar, fertilizers, oil refinery, caustic soda. All these industries are covered under Schedule 1 if they are discharging effluent more than 100 KLD and if the effluent is not going to CETP. But the same industries, if discharging effluent more than 100 KLD and discharging effluent into CETP, then they will be covered under Schedule 2. All industrial plants mentioned in column 3 and discharging effluent more than 100 liter, more than 1 lakh liter per day, I have already mentioned. And number 5, all industrial plants mentioned in column 3, that is cement plant, thermal power plant, integrated iron and steel plant, zinc smelter, copper smelter, aluminum smelter, all these are covered under Schedule 1 industry. Now the Schedule 2. Naphthalene derivative based intermediates I have mentioned when discussing about the Schedule 1 industries. The difference is the discharge of effluent into CETP or not. Benzene based industries, if effluent not going to CETP, and manufacturing 4-CAP, PAPSA, PABA, they are covered under Schedule 2 industries. And if the benzene based industries and effluent is going to CETP, then they are exempted from the environment audit scheme. Nitrochlorobenzene based industries manufacturing anthranilic acid, NADAPSA, APDA, ONC, BCA, BSA. And if the effluent is not going to CETP, they are covered under Schedule 2 industries. And if these industries are discharging their effluent into CETP, they are member of CETP, they are exempted. Aniline based industries, and if the effluent going to CETP, effluent not going to CETP, they are covered under Schedule 2. And only DASA manufacturing units, if effluent going to CETP, they are covered under Schedule 2 industry. Dyes, direct dyes, reactive dyes, and wet dyes manufacturing units. If effluent not going to CETP, they are covered under Schedule 2. And if they are member of common effluent treatment plant, then they are exempted from the provisions of environment audit scheme. Pigments, metaphthalocyanin based pigments, if effluent going to CETP, they are Schedule 2. And if the effluent is not going to CETP, we have seen that they are covered under Schedule 1. All the industrial plants discharging effluent 1 lakh liters per day or more, irrespective of the effluent going to CETP or not, as mentioned in the column 4 of number 4 of Schedule 1, they are covered under Schedule 2 industries. Textile processing industries with carbonizing units, textile processing industries having daily effluent discharge of more than 100 KL per day or more than 100 KL per day, they are covered under Schedule 2. Stainless steel rolling and re-rolling mills covered under Schedule 2 of the Environment Audit Scheme. All the industrial plants manufacturing products mentioned in column number 3 of item 4 in Schedule 1 If they are discharging effluent less than 100 kl per day but more than 25 kl per day, and if the effluent is not discharged into the CETP, they are covered under Schedule 2. Lead recovery units, this column 3, we have discussed already in Schedule 1. And again, all these schedules are available on the website of the GPCB. Lead recovery units from scrap, they are covered under Schedule 2 industry. All industrial plants, manufacturing plants involving process mentioned in column number 3 and discharging effluent quantity more than 100 kl per day or more, and if effluent is going to CETP, all these industries are also covered under Schedule 1 if they are discharging their effluent. They are not discharging their effluent into CETP. I hope I am audible and my slides are visible.
Yes, ma'am. They
Okay.
are.
The auditors, Schedule 1 auditors are credible institutes with high technical capabilities like academic and R&D institutes. Many of the government and private engineering colleges are Schedule 1 auditors, are recognized Schedule 1 auditors, and R&D institutes like SICART, CHITCO, ATIRA, they are also Schedule 1 auditors recognized by GPCB. Schedule 2 auditors are the agencies and private consultants. We all know that the environment audit team comprises of 4 team members: chemical engineer, environment engineer, and 2 scientists. And these are the eligibility criteria, the educational qualifications requirement to become a team member of an environment audit team. So, a person having a degree in environment engineering or degree in civil engineering with specialization in environment engineering as an elective subject are eligible to become environment engineer, the team member 1 of environment audit team. And a person having a degree in chemical engineering, BTech or Bachelor of Engineering in chemical engineering or technology, they are eligible as a chemical engineer, team member 2. A person having a degree in chemistry or environmental science, here the degree means BSc, minimum educational qualification is required to BSc, and BSc degree in chemistry or environmental science. The person can become team member 3 of the environment audit team. And as we have seen during the modification of environment audit scheme, that person having a degree in all these subjects can become team member 4. Now the experience criteria. Out of the total 4 members, 1 engineer and 1 scientist at least should have minimum experience of 1 year in the field of environment. That is, out of the environment engineer or a chemical engineer, one should have experience of minimum 1 year in environment management system, chemical industry, or in an analytical laboratory. As I earlier mentioned, that each team of environment auditor shall be having 2 engineers and 2 scientists. Environment auditor can apply for maximum of 3 teams at a time. Any environment auditor can have maximum 3 teams at a time. Auditors application fees. When the environment auditors apply to get recognition from GPCB, they are required to pay rupees 20,000 as demand draft. Both Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 environment auditors are recognized by Environment Audit Committee constituted by GPCB. Environment Audit Committee is constituted by GPCB, and based on the committee's recommendation, GPCB recognized the environment auditors. Each recognized team can perform audit of maximum 15 industries per year. So any environment auditor can have maximum 3 teams And each team can perform 15 industries per year maximum, of course, based on the allotment of industries by GPCB. And so if an environment auditor have 3 teams, the environment auditor can perform 45 industries per year. This is the constitution of Environment Audit Committee. Regional Director of CPCB is the member of Environment Audit Committee. Retired Regional Director of CPCB is also a member of Environment Audit Committee. Experts from academia, Professor Joshi, Dr. DJ Parikh, Professor Y. Oza, Dr. Chinmay Ghoroi are also members of Environment Audit Committee. Dr. Bharat Jain, Member Secretary from Gujarat Cleaner Production Center, and Shri Rajesh Jetwa, Retired Chief Engineer from GWSSB, Shri B.M. Taylor, Retired General Manager, GNFC, are also the expert members of Environment Audit Committee. And the Member Secretary GPCB is the Chairman of the committee. Time schedule for submission of Environment Audit Report. The industries falling in Schedule 1 and 2, except all common facility, need to submit one Environment Audit Report per year. All the common facilities need to submit 2 Environment Audit Reports per year. The environment audit period, as I mentioned earlier, is according to the financial year, that is from 1st April to 31st of March. Submission of audit report to GPCB is before 30th of June. But the common environmental infrastructure facilities are required to submit 2 environment audit reports, that is one on or before 31st of December every year, and second on or before 30th of June every year. Scrutiny fees. Scrutiny fee, that is the scrutiny fee for environment audit reports, which is to be submitted by industries to GPCB. Scrutiny fee shall be submitted to GPCB online as decided from time to time, but nowadays it is Schedule 1 industry 20,000, and for Schedule 2 industry it is rupees 10,000, and 50% waiver to the industries having ISO 14001 certification. Consequences of failure to file environment audit report. If any industry fails to submit the environment audit report as per the time schedule, necessary actions as per para 10 of environment audit scheme can be taken, which can be up to which can start from simple show cause notice to notice of direction and up to closure of the industrial unit under para 10 of this. The actions also includes rejection of the CCA renewal applications. Functions of recognized environment auditors. Environmental auditors shall perform 3 monitoring of the industrial units allotted to them for the preparation of each audit report. That is, except the monsoon season. Preparing and submitting audit reports on efficacy and adequacy of the environmental management system of individual industrial units. And to make such recommendation for improvement of the existing environment management system. The environment auditors can suggest the cleaner production measures, the reduce, recycle, and other better mechanisms in order to improve the environment management system of the unit as well as to improve the environment. But any recommendations made by the environment auditors in the audit report shall not bind the GPCB in any manner all the time. Accountability and liability of the auditors, industries. Where the audit report found to be incorrect or inaccurate, industries and auditors shall be liable to appropriate directions, including closure of the industry. If the environment audit report is found incorrect or inaccurate and it is proved that the environment audit report is incorrect because of the incorrect data provided by industry, then the industry shall be liable for appropriate directions. And if the auditors whose audit report is found to be incorrect or inaccurate, then the auditor shall be liable to be derecognized starting from 1 year to lifetime derecognition. Environment auditors are held responsible for false and misleading reporting under the scheme. GPCB has also started evaluation of environment audit reports submitted by auditors to expert institutes, as I said earlier, but it is started only, and we have to strengthen the mechanism. This is the data of industries versus environment auditors we have during the year 2024-25. So during the allotment for the year 2024-25, total 1,922 industries were allotted to 188 auditors. That is 1,531 industries were allotted to 135 Schedule 2 auditors and 391 industries to 53 Schedule 1 auditors. But year by year, the number of environment auditors are increasing and the number of industries allotted to the environment auditors are decreasing year by year. Earlier, it was the scenario that each environment auditor, and if they are having 3 teams, each team also used to get 15 industries. But the number of environment auditors such increased that the number of industries allotted to them are decreasing year by year. This is the fee structure which is fixed by GPCB. So monitoring and sampling and analysis charges for water, air and hazardous waste shall be as per GPCB charges, that is as per the latest Gazette notification of sampling and analysis charges of GPCB. Again, the frequency of monitoring and sampling should be as per the guideline dated 14th September 2022. TADA rate for the team members of the environment auditors shall be applicable as per Class 1 officers as prescribed in circular dated 3rd October 2012 of Finance Department. And for the audit fee, that is the environment auditors to claim fees from the industries as per the audit report, for the audit report is rupees 15,000 for small scale industries, 20,000 for medium scale and 25,000 for large scale industries. Now the guideline dated 14th of September 2022. GPCB published a guideline for limiting the frequency of air, water and hazardous waste samples collection and analysis during environment audit of industries. Many representations have received by GPCB regarding higher charges claimed by environment auditors, some of the environment auditors, and this compelled GPCB to publish this guideline. The main points of the guidelines are wastewater, ambient air quality monitoring based on location of the industry and pollution potential, in frequency of flue gas emission based on type of fuel, process gas emission frequency, frequency for digisets and noise monitoring, hazardous waste sampling and analysis. So when we talk about this guideline, GPCB has limited the frequency of sampling and analysis. For example, if we talk about water and wastewater, so based on the disposal mode of the industry and quantity of the effluent discharge, the frequency of sampling is decided. For example, discharge quantity is less than 25 KLD and the effluent is discharged into CETP. The frequency would be 1 sample per monitoring from final outlet of industry. Quantity of 25 to 50 KLD discharge into CETP, the frequency would be 2 samples per monitoring, that is from inlet and final outlet of ETP. Discharge quantity if more than 50 KLD into CETP. The frequency would be 3 samples per monitoring, each from inlet, primary and secondary treatment outlet, and final outlet of industry. Primary or secondary treatment units. Okay. And if the industry is not discharging treated effluent into CETP, then the frequency would be 2 samples per monitoring, each from inlet and outlet. If the discharge quantity is less than 25 KLD, and for more 25 KLD, for more than 25 KLD discharge, total 3 samples per monitoring, one from inlet, second from final outlet, and one from outlet of primary or secondary treatment. An analysis of wastewater samples. The frequency is also decided that during the first monitoring only or during any of the one monitoring only, all the parameters as mentioned in the CCA of the industry should be carried out, and for the rest of the two monitorings, the samples parameters like pH, temperature, SS, TDS, BOD, COD, and ammonia, these main parameters, and 5 other industry specific parameters should be analyzed. Same way, ambient air quality. If the ambient air quality monitoring is carrying out for the industries located in GIDC area, no need to carry out ambient air monitoring. But this clause is not uh, applicable to the R17 category large scale industries. The R17 category R17 category are the 17 category industries which are highly polluted and which are listed on the CPCB's website. Outside GIDC area, if the total premises area is of the industry is less than 5,000 square meter, 2 samples, one in upward and one in downwind direction. Ambient air quality, for 5,000 to 10,000 square meter premises area of an industry, 3 samples, one in upward and two in downward direction. And if the premises area is more than 10,000 square meter, then at least 3 samples, one in upward and two in downward wind direction during 2 seasons are required to be collected. Process gas emission, there is no exemption. Process gas emission samples are required to be collected and analyzed during all the seasons. Same way, the flue gas emission samples frequency is also decided. In case of use of cleaner fuels, no flue gas sampling and analysis are required to be done. And in case of approved fuel, the monitoring frequencies and analysis frequencies are decided based on their capacity of the boilers and thermic fluid heaters. Same way, the criteria for DG sets, noise monitoring, and hazardous waste sampling are also decided in the guideline dated 14th of September 2022. Special task for recognized environment auditors. Many Schedule 1 environment auditors are assigned with special tasks to assist GPCB, like the Schedule 1 environment auditor, Gujarat Environment Management Institute, is assigned with the task of carrying out monitoring of the groundwater on both the banks of River Sabarmati. Many of the government and private environment and private engineering colleges, including Pacific School of Engineering, was assigned a task to carry out study of the sewage treatment plants on pilot basis. JITCO has been assigned a task to carry out third-party monitoring of the flue gas samples collected from the textile industries in Narol area. Same way, many Schedule 1 environment auditors are assigned a special task and study and third-party monitoring to assist GPCB. Also, the Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 environment auditors are required to submit no increase in pollution load certificate as per the MOEF circular. As I said earlier, the environment auditors are allotted industries through randomization software prepared by NIC. And this exercise is done online. This year, from last year, GPCB has started to allot equal number of industries per auditor within zone or in the adjacent zone. Earlier, it was the unequal distribution, like if Ahmedabad zone has 10 environment auditors and a zone has 100 industries, the Ahmedabad auditors would get 10 industries each. But if in Vadodara region there are 10 environment auditors and industries are only 50, then the environment auditors of Vadodara region could get 5 industries per year. But this time, not this time, the last year, GPCB has started to allot equal number of industries, that is total number of industries in the state divided by the total number of environment auditors. Of course, the Schedule 1 and industries and are allotted to Schedule 1 auditors, and Schedule 2 industries are allotted to Schedule 2 auditors. Online allotment started from 2015, and last year it was done very late on 24th of September 2024. As respected member secretary mentioned that the GPCB is going to introduce a qualifying test for the team members of environment auditors. This would be a requirement for all the new team members or change in manpower in case of recognized team members. Currently recognized team members are given time up to 31st of March 2026 to clear the qualifying test. This would be an online computerized test, and the question papers would be covering 50 mark of MCQ plus 50 mark of descriptive questions, and that is 2 marks, and 3 marks questions would be also there. And the details about the qualifying test is available on GPCB website. Syllabus is also there. And as mentioned by the respected member secretary GPCB, we would be floating the application forms on GPCB website within 15 days. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam, for this
I hope.
precise lecture. Now,
Yes.
uh, various doubts were there, and it has been cleared by your lecture, but there are
Yes.
still few doubts with some of the participants. So I would ask the participant to kindly ask their question. If any participant want to ask the question, they may raise your hand or they may ask in the chat section. I shall unmute those participants.
Yes. One question was there: can anybody on individual basis can apply for environment audit qualifying test? Yes. Individual person can apply for qualifying test.
Jagniyant Lunagaria sir, are you available? I have unmuted you. Can you please unmute yourself from your end? Mr. Lunagaria.
Not able to unmute. He's writing.
Okay. Pragati Bhattacharya, can you unmute yourself?
I have typed the
Yes, sir.
question.
Yes, sir. Good evening,
Yes,
ma'am, and
please.
good evening to all the dignitaries. I have a question that could I get live training sessions, recording sessions after the webinar?
Yes, that would be available on the YouTube. I will be sharing the YouTube link to all the participants post completion of the whole FDP, not on daily basis. Is it clear?
And ma'am, can you please pardon the examination structure of the this particular FDP?
Sorry?
Examination structure, which is going to be conducted by
Okay.
GPCB.
No, I
By
think
GPCP or at the end of this FDP? What question you are? See, only the relevant question which are to be asked to Jigna ma'am are to be asked right now. Any other questions which are to be asked regarding the FDP can be asked personally. So, any more questions for Jigna ma'am? Lunagaria sir, can you please try again to unmute yourself?
Yes, yes. Now mic is working. Ma'am,
Okay.
I am having a question for the common facilities. For example, TSDF site and CETP. There is 6 monthly report submission. Environment audit scheme talk about minimum 3 number of visit. So whether 6 number of visit required for the common facilities or 3 number of visit per year is okay for the common facilities.
3 monitoring per year is okay for the common facilities.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Ravalia Parth, I have unmuted you. You can
Yes,
ask the
yes.
question. Yes.
My question is that if exam in between, if other any exam occurs, any central examination comes between the audit exam, then how we will be eligible for the to be auditor?
So we are planning to have 2 to 3 exam sessions initially. So if you miss first lot, you can apply for the second lot.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes, Avinash Prasad. Avinash Prasad, I have unmuted you.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Uh,
Am I audible, ma'am?
yes.
Ma'am, I have a question that if the industry is a small scale industry and the wastewater, that is the effluent, is not sent to CET, effluent is sent to CET,
Hmm.
industry is falling under a safety area, then that industry will be under the Schedule 2 or Schedule 1.
But which type of industry?
Say, for example, ma'am, a dye industry is there located in Ankleshwar.
Dye industry.
And that industry is sending the yes, and that industry is sending its effluent to the common effluent plant, that is the NCTL. Then whether that industry will be under the Schedule 2 or Schedule 1, as
We
the
are talking
Ankleshwar lies in a
about
critical
that
area.
the dye industry discharging effluent into CETP,
Yes,
and the quantity is
quantity is about 9 kLD, ma'am.
so it will not fall in the environment audit scheme.
Not okay.
It is discharging into the CETP.
Yes.
Yes, Earth Envirotech. Earth Envirotech, I have unmuted you. Ranjan, I have unmuted you. Alok Gupta, I have unmuted you.
Good evening,
Can you
Jigna madam.
explain
This
me?
is Ranjan Maharaj. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Namaskar.
Am I audible?
One by one, please. Yes,
Hello, ma'am.
Alok Gupta,
Alok this
please.
side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you please
Ma'am, can you brief?
on your video?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ बोलो.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Ma'am, can you brief in short what is the process and what is the roadmap how to be a certified environmental auditor?
So you want to become an environment auditor and you want me to describe in brief.
Certified, like competent by the GPCB.
Certified, that is recognized environment auditor.
Yes.
Yes. Then you should have 4 team members. Actually, it all these things have covered in the my PPT, but still you are required to have laboratory in Gujarat state and 4 team members as mentioned in the environment audit scheme. You are required to pay fees rupees 20,000 demand draft with the application form, undertaking, and the educational experience certificates to GPCB, the number of instruments you are having. This is the first step to make the application, and then you will be having a qualifying test cleared by your all the team members, and then followed by laboratory visit. And if the
Actually, all
committee
these
recommends,
details, yes,
ah,
all these details are available on the GPCB website, Environmental Audit at a Glance. Please refer to that.
and these I covered in my PPT also. If you
Okay.
were there
Yes,
in
yes,
the yeah.
yes. Earth Enviro. Hello. It is audible, but it is too low volume. Please. Hello. You are audible, but your volume is too low. Yes, your video is now visible. Please ask your question on a higher pitch. Your volume is too less.
Main industry source of water, GWIA, GWSSB, BGWA, then required to take sample in environment audit.
Unable to hear. Unable to hear. You can ask in the chat box if you want to. By the time Labdi Shah, I have unmuted you. Please ask your question.
Yes, ma'am, good evening. I'm Labdisha from Prakriti Environmental Engineers. Actually, I wanted to ask if audit is required 2 vehicles, like one for one for carrying all the machineries, ambient air machine, noise machines, and the second vehicle is for the audit team. So, can we charge to TADA for 2 vehicles
Yes, if it is justified. Sure.
if it is justified? Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, the last question for today's session is from Earth Envirotech. When industry source of water GWIL, GWSSB, CGWA, when required to take sample environmental audit visit, this is the question of Earth Envirotech.
See,
Common.
if industry is using groundwater, then it is necessary to take the sample of source of water. Otherwise, I don't think it is necessary.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for attending all the questions and replying to them very appropriately. Thank you so much for your valuable time. We really appreciate your time and patience. And thank you once again for sharing your knowledge, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, sir.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much,
you.
Murtiwala sir.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Just a moment. We will be starting with the